wake up Monday fucking morning. Out the car, or out of the house at 6 in the morning. That's what I'm fucking talking about. So, by the time I post this video, it will actually be, I believe, Wednesday. Yeah, so I guess this Monday hype is kind of gone. But for me, I'm still feeling it. So I'm going back to Los Campianos. And I think mainly just because I'm making use of that extra early time. You know, it is fucking crazy getting let into that gym before they actually open. So I want to make use of it because it's not going to be empty for a fucking while. I have a suspicion that place is going to turn into a little bit of a hub, which typically is good, but you know, I'm kind of on a little bit of a empty gym kick. So, you know, let's just make hay while the sun is shining in that sense. But it's about 30 minutes from right here, so I'm not going to drink my pre just yet. I'm going to wait a little bit till I get a bit closer, because legs is kind of a longer lift. I'm thinking hamstrings followed by quads. So curls first. I didn't really scan all their leg stuff, but there's definitely a variety of curls for me to jump onto. And dieting, I think leg curls are where it's at. When you're trying to really put on actual size, I think you need a substantial amount of hip hinging. It doesn't have to be super crazy heavy. Like when I see videos of guys doing 3-plate stiff leg deadlifts or 4, I think it's a little too much, you know. And is that hypocritical for me to say that these guys are doing too much weight? At least for me, when it comes to an RDL, I'm talking like a plate and a 25, 2 plates if I'm feeling good on the Smith machine, or even just using cable arms to load and just really squeezing the crap out of my hamstrings. Like, at least from how I like it, a hip hinge for hamstrings feels very good in a squeezing manner with, a very intentional big stretch. Not so much a crazy amount of weight, but I'm definitely biased to like leg curls a little bit more just because I do like them. So, take that critique with that point in consideration. But hamstrings first, followed by quads, and then probably finished with some adductors and calves. So those are going to be after the pose down. I think I'm going to do hams, quads, flex, adductors, calves, and that'll sort of be the loop. But they've got a crap ton of different leg presses. There's a few, there's one in there that's kind of cool. It's the exact same hip press that I've got in the corner of my gym, which I really like. But this one has been sliced down the middle so that each individual half of the machine, including the weight itself, is single side loadable. So you could pump out, 5 reps on the right leg, rack the right side, then 5 on the left, rack the left side, 5 on the right, 5 on the left. Kind of just go back and forth, pumping it out like that. So that's kind of cool. I used to not like single leg pressing. I used to think, well, fuck, man, legs are a very stable setup. I want to hit it from both angles, just standard, 2 legs at once. But individual, I find that they get loaded pretty well, especially for leg extensions. Like it's almost, it's kind of been rare lately that I don't do single leg extensions, at least in the quad session of a lift. So that's kind of just been a little pattern that I've been liking. Those sets where I'm doing like 10 on the right, 10 on the left, 10 on the right, 10 on the left, maybe burn out with both legs at the end once they're, both, let's just say, sufficiently pumped. I mean, that freaking does the trick. But yeah, I don't anticipate that there will be anybody in there. Actually, it would be a little bit surprising if there freaking was. So I'm gonna keep waiting for my fucking opportunity to turn. But I think there's nothing else to say. Let's just jump in there and fucking kill legs. This would be a perfect start. Yeah. Okay. Let's just keep running this back. This leg curl is fucking sweet. Okay. I think 2 more. Oh, 1 more. Oh. Okay, now let's move on. That was a good 4. Ooh. Okay, those first 4 kind of wild. This one will be more controlled and squeezing. So I'd say the equivalent weight would be maybe 250, and I'm only doing 160 here. Like, I want to get in this bottom position and just fucking, you know what I'm saying. All right, come on. Okay. Holy crap. I think 1 more of those, and it's actually time for quads. Those first 4 really did something. All right. No. No. Oh. Hey. Okay. Oh, yeah, they're done. Let's hit some leg extensions and then see what the hell we want to do pressing wise, if any. You know, I'm not against it, but I want to see how my knees feel. Okay. Oh. So I know all that shit I was saying about single leg extensions. Let's start with a double leg set. It depends on the leg extension. Everybody's knees and hips and limb lengths of their femur versus their shin is different. So it would make sense that you prefer some to others. And then it's also a question of like the strength curve too. Because I don't know if you can even see this from here, but This thing is not just a perfectly round circle, right? So this is kind of transferring torque from here to the cable. It's a little, if I had a graph, it would be a little more interesting to get into, but let's keep it simple and just go fucking crazy. 100 reps. Come on. Come on. Okay. Ooh. Yeah. Ooh. 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 Six. Oh. One more minimum. Holy crap. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right. What to do next? Let's find out. All right. All right. Time for 5. Let's get fucking real. Oh, that's fucking heavy. Oh. Oh. I almost just did a loser ass set of leg press, but I got myself amped for squats. Oh, one and done though. Oh my God. All right. I gotta take a minute to even just fucking catch my breath after that one. But I was gonna wait until the end to get into this, but if we're talking squats, I think I gotta talk about it when it's fresh. So mind the huffing and puffing. But I really think squats are a good litmus test for just how fucking crazy you can get. I don't squat every lift. When I'm dieting, I really don't think I need to squat at all. Like even in off season, you can get away with just leg press only if you want. I mean, I grew my quads and I almost only did fucking leg extensions. I would do like the occasional squat. But there is something about, and this is kind of more advanced, like to push yourself that hard on a set of squats, you've got to be good at squatting. Like if you'll notice, I kept my head up and my shoulders and my butt, at least for most of those good reps, moved up and down at the same pace. Sometimes people do this, right? They squat and then it turns into this motion, like a half hip hinge. No, I want to be super linear the whole way through. But to just be able to fucking get your breath together, get your heart rate up just from listening to some kind of fucking music or no music, whatever your deal is, and just think, all right. That mental headspace, I can't tell you how to get there or where there is for you because it's going to be different for everyone. But when I get there, let's just say I leave the gym a happy lifter. Let's put it like that. But let's go finish, honestly, probably with some more leg extensions. Maybe some leg press. I gotta fucking rack this shit though. Yeah, let's bring it here. This leg press is not like crazy insane heavy, but it is heavy enough to be a badass set. So let's add the 2 little extra 5s. Maybe 2 of these. I don't know, maybe 3. Let's see what happens. Let me pick a song and start getting real. Yeah, there we go. Holy shit, that's fucking heavy. Okay. That feels like 2 more. Hell yeah. All right. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I thought I had one more. Let's finish with some leg extensions. Come on. Okay. Oh, crap. Done. All right. I will, of course, get my head into frame in a moment. Actually, I can creep you up a little bit. Yeah. That kind of kills the leg shot, though. How about a little middle ground right there? So let's see how we're looking. That was what? 6 sets of hamstrings, 2 sets of leg extensions, 1 bad fucking ass set of squats, and actually, let's do a little pivot. Let's face over here. All right. So let's test my manual focusing skills. Out of focus. In fucking focus. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, that's the shot. Actually, I might need to back up a little more. Sorry for the technical difficulties. This is the behind the scenes right here. There we go. Yeah. So, just standing up, not even really doing a pose or anything. I'm feeling relatively freakish and hitting an actual little, stance, widening my legs. I mean, let's just say I'm feeling like a beast. And not only visually, but also from the fact that I just squatted more than double body weight for freaking 10 reps. Hell yeah. So, obviously that's nothing new. I've been throwing around 5 plates for quite a while. But that doesn't take away from the coolness. It's still 5 fucking plates. 5 plates is not laughing weight. Oh yeah, that's a shot right there. Yeah. Ooh. Okay. Yeah. So I'm a little bit particular with these underwear. I got like fucking 30 pairs of them because they cover my whole leg, or at least a good chunk of my thigh, which if you get big enough, actually becomes an issue. Like I want this whole center section of adductor area to be, coated in that little layer of, whatever, so that my legs don't rub up against each other and fucking chafe. Because if you're a little bit of a heftier dude and you're walking around with chafed legs, I'll tell you this, it fucking sucks. So that's kind of been helping me out, especially doing cardio on the treadmill where I'm walking a ton.
that side-to-side rubbing action. Yeah, boxer briefs, extra long. That's my recommendation if you're, let's just say if you're a beast. But I'm not done yet. Still gonna go back and just camp out on the adductor machine and the calf raise machine. But, you tell me if I'm a wuss for this. When I'm doing adductors, I'm playing on my phone. Like in between sets, I pick my weight and I'm normally doing the stack. I do 10 reps, I hold it, really squeeze. Maybe I can't really actually get my legs all the way together. And then I'm just, goofing. Then I do it again, goofing, do it again, goofing. I guess I'm kind of putting adductors in the category of an accessory muscle, which it kind of is. It's not super demanding, and it's very easy to hit failure on adductors, I feel, at least for me. So I don't feel like I'm losing out on adductor gains by doing that. But I wouldn't recommend playing around on your phone much during your training, at least not during the serious part. Hamstrings to quads, serious. I'm not scrolling, I'm listening to my music or maybe playing like a TikTok edit out of my saves or my reposts, but I'm not just scrolling. I'm trying to get pretty fucking real and maintain that intense headspace. And then, afterward, when I'm doing my adductors and ripping calves, well, that's a little more chill. Those I would consider more muscles where you're just doing it. The doing it is kind of the difficulty part. So, I guess I'm not trying to hype up playing around on your phone. But if you're gonna skip adductors anyway, because maybe that's just what you do and you're not hitting adductors very much, well, fuck, man. Make it a little more enjoyable for yourself, right? Don't make it seem like such a chore. Do your 10, get amped, of course, and then, do for a minute during your rest. 10 again, little things like that. Like it's not the hardest fucking shit in the world. But I'm gonna go do that, finish calves. I'm very happy with this leg day. Gym sick, machine solid, pump insane. Actually, honestly, this pump was just solid, but I know the workout was awesome, so it makes it even better. And then I'll see you in the freaking car. So I'm gonna go get the rest of my workout done, and we're gonna have a little post-lift discussion about whatever the heck pops into my freaking noggin.
And there we go. And there we freaking go. Adductors complete, calves complete. They had a cool, I'd never seen it before. It was a hamstring, what am I saying, hamstring? It was a hammer strength. You can see my confusion. Calf machine, seated. If you've ever been to a Planet Fitness, you'll know that they normally have a seated calf machine where you push the foot pad away. If you know, you know, I guess. That's a bad description. But this one is just like an elevated version. That was kind of cool. And when it comes to your calves, I'll definitely hear some people get kind of particular, like, don't only do seated calf raises, like on a regular calf raise machine, because your leg will be in a bent position and you're gonna work your soleus more than your gastrocnemius or whatever. I don't know which is which, I just know the words. And that's probably true in a way. I really like a seated calf raise where you just have the weight bouncing on top of your quad, but doing it standing as well, I think, is pretty legit too. Just do a mix, right? Seated curl, lane curl, leg extension, press, bench, fly, right? I think we're getting, it's a mute point. That's not the right word. That's not the right way to put that. It's a artificial argument just for the sake of arguing when we start sitting here thinking, like, okay, what's better? Incline bench or incline machine press? Oh, whoa, well, incline bench has a superior tension loading in what are we doing, man? Fucking, do one day, do the other one the other day, have a good spread. Like, let me try to break it down, like, rip this right off the dome. Chest, you got pressing, flies, and converging pressing. Those two are a little different because one has more squeeze and the other one has more heft. Back, rows, pull downs, pullovers, boom. Hip hinging, but I don't really want a thicker lower back and midsection, so I don't do a lot of it. Chest supported rows are where it's at. Quads, leg extensions, sissy squats. Boom. Hamstrings, leg curls, seated or laying, RDLs. Solid. Let me turn the air conditioner on just a little bit. There we go. Triceps, push downs, dips, overhead extensions. Biceps, curls, bicep bias pull down, which is basically a curl. It's just a little bit of a different way to do it. And shoulders, front delts, pressing, front raises, side laterals, rear laterals. Boom. As long as you hit most of those main sort of points, you're kind of good, right? I'm not saying that it's not worth thinking about improving your training, but don't, and I say this a lot, it is becoming a bit of a cliche, but it's still true. Don't lose the forest for the tree. Oh, thank you. If you said bless you, which is why you're saying bless you to me on the video. What are you doing? What are you, crazy? But don't lose the forest. Don't lose the big picture just for a little specific, little nitpicky thing, you know? So you're doing quads? Hey man, maybe you haven't squatted for a while. Go for it. Maybe you haven't done heavy leg press for a while. Boom, hit it. Maybe you, maybe you've been doing heavy pressing really consistently and you're starting to build up some fatigue in your knees and your tendons. Maybe you should have a light day. Just do some leg extensions, holding, squeezing, relatively lightweight, and just burn the shit out of your quads. That's what I did my last quad day, and it was a very different lift than today's by a freaking mile. There was no squat, there was no leg press, no nothing, just leg extensions and sissy squats. But having the two and, sort of just going back and forth between styles, for me, means that my training is varied, which I think is good. Repetitive stimulus, I imagine, is something that you can get used to. So increased variety, I think, is a bonus to your training. And on a more subjective note, makes it more fun. You never know what that day is going to bring until you get in there, get warmed up, and say, all right, what are we doing here? Maybe today, if I was on those leg extensions and my knees were feeling really tender, normally they're not. Like, as much crazy heavy squatting as I've done, my knees are pretty solid. And I'm not trying to jinx it. I'm not asking for trouble here, of course. Like, don't leave them intact. But if I were to come in and maybe I was feeling a little something, which just kind of happens, you never know. Well, I would say, all right, I better back off. Let's do some light squeezing, leg extension work, and go from there. But that's not what happened. I start warming up. I'm ripping those 2 sets of leg extensions first, and I say, I'm feeling strong. I'm feeling pumped, which is another thing I'll get into. Let's get real. Get that little fire in your belly feeling of, all right, I'm fucking squatting. Walk over to the rack, and that was kind of fun for me because I basically got to break it in. Nobody's really used those racks for any real working sets. So at least currently, I'm the 10 rep PR holder, or the 10 rep PR record holder at that gym. Los Campeones champ, 580 or 495 for. Ooh, did I say 585 earlier? I did not just do 585. I did 495. I don't know what I was saying. If I said that was a misquote. But yeah, 5 plates for 10. That's the current record, which I'm sure will be broken, and hopefully so. Hopefully freaking so. But when it comes to what I was about to say a second ago, was my hamstrings were crazy pumped. That laying curl was just doing something to me. It was light at the bottom and heavy at the top, so I could really rip some reps because I didn't feel like I was going to pull anything at the bottom. Like a preacher curl is heavy at the bottom. I'm not going to bounce weight in a preacher curl. It's heavy down here in the stretch position where you're most vulnerable for potential injury, right? That means that I'm going to go more controlled. But that machine was light at the bottom, so I can be a little quicker, and use a little bit more, not exactly momentum, but just heft and, get into a quicker groove. So when I was doing those leg extensions, the first sets and the last few, my hamstrings were so pumped. It felt, obviously your legs are resting on your hamstrings, but it felt like my thighs were artificially raised above the seat because my hamstrings were so pumped underneath me. if you kind of follow. But when I was squatting, my hamstrings are super pumped. My quads were a little pumped from the leg extensions. So it almost gave me a little bit of a cushion in the bottom of the rep because my hamstrings were running into my calves, kind of giving me a little bit of a bump, of like a little bit of a boost, which some people who squat really heavy might fall for this logic of, I should squat when I'm fresh because then I'm the strongest that I can be, right? I have thought that for a long time. Only now, or at least, well, the last few years, but only relatively recently have I kind of learned, well, shit, if I hit hamstrings first, my hamstrings are going to be really pumped. I'm going to have a ton of blood in the area. It's probably going to warm my knees up. And if I do a few sets of leg extensions, my quads will also be fired up and, firing well and contracting. And squatting with a little bit of a pump, hamstrings and quads, I like it. It just makes the squat feel better. I don't feel like I lose strength either. Like, I can still really bring it. So if you've never squatted after hamstrings and a few sets of leg extensions, I would recommend it. If you've only been on like a squat first kick and then you start the rest of your lifts because you're like, I want to do squats when I'm strong, try it the other way around. I promise you will not regret it. I think the majority of people in this situation that I'm describing who try this squat with a hamstring pump, with a little bit of a quad pump, will say the same thing. Whoa, that feels awesome. Or that just feels better than normal. Now, if you don't, well then, shit, man, you're a completely different individual than me, so I can't guarantee that all the things that I like doing are going to work for you, of course. But I do think that's a solid recommendation. And in the process of doing hamstrings first and some leg extensions, I'm essentially doing an airplane checklist over my entire lower body. Do my hamstrings feel good? Yes. All right. That's a green light. I'm good to move on. If my hamstrings were, like if I pulled my hamstring, I would not squat. The squat involves your hamstrings quite a bit. Like, your hamstrings aren't doing the heavy lifting, but they're involved. So if I have a pulled hamstring, I can't squat. I'm going to hurt myself. So as long as my hamstrings are fresh, okay, green light. Let's see how legs feel on leg extensions. Knees are feeling good. Quads are feeling good. I have a baseline understanding of my strength, and I was feeling strong on those leg extensions. All right, shit. Quads are feeling good. Knees are feeling good. Hamstrings are feeling good. I'm feeling good just in general. All right. I think almost 500 fucking pounds on my back is going to feel good. And that ended up being the correct prediction. So I wasn't kidding when I said leaving the gym after squatting is a solid feeling. So now, just time to go home, get some food in my system. I'm freaking ready for a big ass bowl of ground beef. I'm talking, what am I talking? I don't know. I'll see when I get there. I might do a little bit of a hot sauce, or I might just do sugar-free barbecue. Macro-wise, sugar-free barbecue is better because it's just 4 grams of carbs per serving. I usually do about 2 servings worth, so 8 grams of carbs. It's a pretty good deal for the enjoyment of the meal. But if I do the buffalo sauce, that'd be about 10 to 15 grams of fats, which is equivalent to about 30 grams of carbs. But the buffalo sauce tastes pretty good too. So that's a good dilemma. If that's something you're thinking about, do I do 8 grams of carbs or do 15 grams of fats? What's going to be better for me today? If that's something that's actually on your radar and you're having that thought, that's a good sign. You're thinking about the right things. Let's put it like that. But Monday morning, I know it's like Wednesday when I post this, but for me at least, this is a badass start to this week. So August 3rd forward, things are looking up, and they almost always are, which is fucking awesome. So I got nothing else to say. Badass leg day. I hope if you've got one in your near future that you're gonna get fucking real. Maybe try doing those squats with the hamstrings pumped already and some quad pre-fatigue / pre-stimulus. And if you've already finished legs, well then we're in the same boat, and we can kind of chill out for a little bit until the clock ticks back around, and it's time to go fucking crazy yet again. So I will see you tomorrow for some chest. I'm finally back on my groove. I had a couple of my days mixed up where I did chest before legs, but now we're back. Legs, chest, back, arms. Just keep it fucking moving. So I will see you tomorrow.